Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to Down Home Bites with Darlene. So I'm going to do a squash casserole. I know earlier when I was making the fruit pizza, I said my husband was going to help me, but he's taking a nap, so we're going to proceed without him. He'll join me another time. So the first thing that you do is you get 4 yellow squash and you cut them in slices, about like that. And then you chop up half a cup of an onion and put it all in a pan that can be covered. I'm just using a Dutch oven. So let me get that started on there and I'll be back with the rest. Okay, I've got that on my stove and I always start it out on high, and then once it starts boiling for a little while, I'll turn it down to like a medium high or medium. So now the next thing we have to do is mix crackers and cheese in a separate bowl. So you want to use like Ritz crackers or the off-brand of them, whichever one you want to do. Get this open here. You know, when I'm not using a video, I can open these things with no problem. But for some reason, when you start doing this, they don't want to cooperate. So, I think I got it. Oh my goodness. Let me get some scissors. You know, it would be real cooking if something didn't go wrong. Okay. So you just take them and you crush them up. This is in a separate bowl. You're going to need a large bowl for when the squash and the onions get soft, and everything will be added to that. But for right now, we're doing this. So I'm using 1 sleeve of crackers. I hope you guys are having a good day today. So pretty outside here in Big Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Okay, now you want a cup of cheddar cheese. Can't believe that opened. So this is a 2-cup size, so about half that. Yeah. Maybe a little bit more. A little more cheese never hurt anybody, right? Okay. There. So we just want to kind of mix this together. You just do it with your hands. All right. Now we're going to set that aside. Okay. So now we're going to take 3/4 a cup of milk and 2 eggs. And we're going, of course, this is in another separate thing here. Okay. Then take your fork or a whisk just to mix those up. Those egg yolks. There we go. Okay, now we'll set that aside. Now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take 1/4 of a cup of butter and melt it. So let's it's about like this. And go ahead and keep the other out because you will have to use it later. Okay. Let me get this melted and we will continue. Okay, we got that butter melted. Now we're gonna add in salt and pepper to taste. I'm just doing a little pinch. I'm using restaurant style pepper. You can buy it at the grocery store. I just like it. I think it gives a more of a stronger taste. A little bit more salt. We don't want a whole lot. So now we can put that aside. You can take this spoon here, just get that mixed up. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients ready. You set your oven to 400. So when the squash gets done, it just has to be tender because it will bake in the oven too. So when it gets done, I will come back and we will finish this up and get it ready. Okay guys, I'm back. The squash and the onions are now have been boiled and they're tender, and I drained them. So yeah, just get you a large bowl, put that in there. Then the next thing you're going to do is your crackers and cheese that you mixed, you're going to put half of that in here. Okay. We'll go ahead and get that stirred up a little bit. Then the eggs and the milk that we put together earlier, you want to add that in there. Give that a little stir. Okay. And then you want to add your melted butter and your salt and pepper. Okay. This says add it to a 9 by 13 baking dish. I just sprayed mine with cooking spray, of course. So let's get this poured in here. Put that aside. Okay, I'm just gonna make it to where, you know, the squash is not all jumbled up in one thing. That way it can bake like it needs to. Okay, and then the last thing you do is you sprinkle the the rest of the cheese and the cracker mixture on top. I love squash casserole. I've tried all different recipes from it, and this one actually uses the same ingredients I do, but it layers it different. So I wanted to try just to see. A friend of mine had told me about it. So I thought, okay, I can do that. I like being guinea pig sometimes. Okay. Then the last thing you want to do is that remainder of the 2 tablespoons of butter, you just want to dot it on the top. Now all that's going to do is kind of help the crackers to brown a little bit. I'm so excited for lunch today. I love pork chops. My husband is not a huge fan of them, but usually when I make them, I usually do them on a grill, which, you know, I like it that way too, but sometimes I just have a hankering for fried pork chops. So this morning, I asked him, I told him, we're having pork chops. Do you want them grilled or do you want them fried? And he said fried. I got so excited. It doesn't take much to get me excited. So we put this in a 400-degree oven. It says for 25 minutes. You'll be able to tell, I mean, it will start setting up and everything, and it'll look more like a casserole instead of just a sloshy mess right now. But what I'll do is I got to finish making the rest of my lunch, and then when I get everything out, I will come back and let you see our results. So hang tight. Okay guys, it's ready. So I got my fried pork chops. There's the squash casserole. Some butter peas. Some deviled eggs. Some cornbread. And of course the fruit pizza for dessert. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday and a good week ahead of time, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me today.